What's up, everybody? I got a special treat for you guys today. I'm actually at the gun range right now because I just got a special delivery in from the store not too long ago. I was going to kind of make its own debut video, but what I'm going to do now, since I'm at the range, because I have a new shotgun, and one of the most critical steps you can do when you get a new shotgun is something called patterning your shotgun. The reason being is that shotguns can fire two types of projectiles. One is a slug, which is something that is kind of like a regular bullet, and you typically only shoot those out of what are called slug guns that have a rifling, just like a pistol or a rifle, which is the twist inside the bore. Or if you're shooting them out of a smoothbore gun, you need to get something called a Foster slug, so the slug itself has the rifling carved into the round so that it spins and can stabilize and go out of there. My new gun is a smoothbore gun, and it's my self-defense gun, and you typically don't want to use slugs indoors because they penetrate and keep penetrating. Slugs are typically for your longer range shots. They're good for hunting and stuff like that. So again, I'm using buckshot. So I got this gun, and no two guns shoots the same. Even if they're the exact same shotgun, one will throw a different pattern than another, and that pattern can change based on the ammo that you use. So all that to say, I need to pattern my shotgun. I actually have 4 different types of shells that I'm going to shoot through here to see which one gives me the best performance at various home defense ranges, and I'm gonna do my best to videotape that for you. Anybody in PG County, Maryland knows the vibes, so let me go inside and get in line. Alright, so I made it in. There's a decent little wait for the lanes, but they said it's inside of an hour, so we're just in a holding pattern till then. The good news is, though, they had some buckshot here. I've been looking all over for buckshot. Typically I don't like to buy at ranges because there's a little bit of a premium because they know you need it. And yeah, but beggars can't be choosers in this market. And the good news is that the buckshot I found is some premium shit. I've never shot it, but I've seen multiple YouTubers, people who are in the tactical arena who make their living by it, who swear by these loads. I don't have all the boxes for all of my ammo, so I'm not going to do the roundup review until I get home and I can have the stats and the boxes on there. But you'll be able to tell the difference between all the different colors of the shotgun shells. So we're just waiting to get on the lanes. All right, so we're finally on the range, and we're about to the first 3 contestants in our first shots. They're going to be at 3 yards. Second round starting at 7 yards. That's what that looks like. Last round at 10 yards. This is approximately the furthest practical hallway in an apartment or a house. I have a few more longer than this and where I currently live, but I should be able to extrapolate by spread about how long of a distance I should be able to engage. And again, 10 yards. Video in this one just because I want to take note of the flyers. We'll discuss those later. Alright, so if you follow my Instagram, the cat was already out of the bag, but this is my new boo right here. This is a Benelli M4, not to be confused with the M4 carbine that is based off of the AR platform that is currently in service with our military. But this is an M4 that is in service with our military. This is the official shotgun. I'm pretty sure of all the branches, but I know for a fact it's for the Marine Corps, and I'm pretty sure the Army. Don't quote me on that. But this gun is actually in service. I will get into why I chose this specific gun when I do a shotgun breakdown and the features that I think are critical to a home defense shotgun. But that'll be another video because that's enough subject matter in itself. But yeah, this is the newest addition to the family. Her name is Shuri because all my guns have female names. And yeah, let's get into what happened at the range. All right, so before we get into the targets themselves, I want to show you the contenders that I tested today. I actually got really lucky because I haven't been able to find buckshot for weeks. But I visited my little hole-in-the-wall store that not too many people know about, and they had gotten a shipment, I guess. So I was able to try some, and surprisingly, the range had ammo. Typically, I don't like to buy from the range because under normal circumstances, they tax because they can, because they're convenient. But then, 2, everybody who gets ammo is already at the range, so they're typically depleted. So today was a good day for shotgun shells. And 223 and 556, even though a lot of it was premium ammo, nothing I want to just go be plinking at the range. But beggars can't be choosers in the current landscape. So, in no particular order, these are the ones that I already had on deck. I've had these for years, and I had actually lost the box. These are Hornady TAP FPDs, and I believe you can Google it. I think the TAP is like Tactical and Police Application. I forgot what FPD stands for, But thanks to my Googles, here's the specs. So obviously it's a 12 gauge. Ignore that reduced recoil. That was another box. Hornady has this habit of, they must have a marketing wing where they rebrand a lot of their shit, and it's oftentimes the same goddamn thing, just in a black box or black casing, whatever it is. But this is actually the 1600 FPS, which is hot. That's the same FPS as my hottest goose loads that I use to shoot geese, but those were birdshot. Obviously, it's a 2 3/4 inch shell, just like all the others, and it has 8 pellets. I lean towards 8 pellets just from some advice I got on the internet, specifically the Lucky Gunner. That's a great channel for resources as far as guns, so feel free to follow and look at their stuff. This is what I picked up when I got my Benelli M4 because this is what they had in stock. Yeah, I had never heard of them before, but I just got it because, again, beggars couldn't be choosers. You see, this one comes out pretty hot too, and I've did rank them in order of speed, so there is, I guess there is a particular order. But you can see that, and this one has a 9 pellet. It doesn't say it on there, but it's a 9 pellet load. This is the Fiocchi, 12 gauge 9 pellet, same thing, 1325 FPS. I had a feeling that even though the FPS is lower than these two, that this was gonna thump me the hardest, and I was not wrong. Just because when I was hunting turkeys, I had to pattern my gun for some turkey shot, and one turkey comes out dumb hot, but I distinctly remember the 8 that Fiocchi put on me. Now this is Remington law enforcement reduced recoil. So if you look at the reduced recoil, you can't see the specs right here, but on the side of the box, if you read it, this one is at about 1200 FPS, which is considerably slower. And the benefit of that is that you're able to get quicker follow-up shots. Don't get me wrong, at 1200 FPS, that's still pistol speeds, and again with 8 pellets. So that's like getting shot simultaneously 8 times by 8 different pistols. And this was a very comfortable shooting gun, but it's risky running reduced recoil in semi-automatic guns, which I'll get into in my shotgun specific video. The good news is it did cycle in mine. And this is the Federal Premium. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says, where's it at? 1145. So the lowest one out of all of them, 9 pellets, 12 gauge buckshot. Now, I have not looked at the targets other than to make sure that I hit them, but I haven't done any analysis because I want to look at this cold with you guys. But I guess that my initial favorites were going to be the Federal and the Hornady as far as accuracy and performance of the pellets themselves, but I felt like this one was going to be the easiest on my shoulder. Accuracy, because I've heard so much about this flight control wad. This one has its Versatite wad, which I've done some Google, and it's the exact same wad. And again, Hornady likes to rebrand and resell you the same shit. And you can't call it bullshit because it's quality ammunition, but they clearly try to get you with the new hotness hype, like gun hype beast. All right, so let's get into the targets. All right, so as you can see, this is the first round of the targets. I shot them at 3 yards. This is round 1 for the first 3 and round 2 for the second. And one thing that should jump out to you immediately is that all of my shot placements were low. I bought this target because it had the nice 3 sections right there. And a lot of that is because of the way that my sight is configured on my Benelli M4, which I will compare to my duck and goose gun when I do the shotgun specific video. The other thing that should jump out to you is that there's just a giant hole, okay? And what that means is that at that close range, the pellets have not separated from the wad. At the end of the video, I'm going to hold up the Fiocchi because it's clear, and you can kind of see the wad inside of it and explain to you what a wad is for those of you who don't know. But that's why the hole is so big. All of the pellets in the wad went through. Still absolutely lethal. There's ballistic gel tests that you can go on YouTube and look up for 12 gauge that at close range, that wad can come into you and kill you by itself. Never mind the pellets. Okay. The other thing that you might not be able to see is there's little tiny dots. Those aren't shot pellets because the pellets are about the size of a 32 caliber projectile. Well, they are a 32 caliber projectile, but that what those are like the material that's kept inside the wad to keep it dry and everything like that. This one had a little bit of separation. I'm just now noticing. You can see these little pellets right here. But for the most part, they stayed inside the wad. And this looks like it might be a pellet right here. Yeah. All right. Next set. All right. So this is at 7 yards, just 4 yards difference. And you can already see a marked difference in performance. Up here, you still have the wad is very close to the center of the total grouping of the pellets, but you have more separation. So you've got 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4, 5, 6. I got that on my table. 7. There might be another one in there, and this is out of a total of 9, so 8, 9. But that's also, this big hole is the wad. Again, I was aiming right on and hitting mostly low. Okay, the spread is about the size of my fist, the long way, which is kind of what you want. Oh, there's one right here. So I don't know if I marked that one already. So that's a flyer. So that's, you kind of get those with more so with the 9 pellets than the 8. It's just, I guess, where the geometry stacks, they arrange those pellets in there on top of each other, and I guess they ricochet, and one of them tends to get kicked out. All right, this one I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, this one has 9 too. I thought that was 9. Liar. Internet lie. 9 pellets. And this is the wad right here. But you can see that's tight too. My fist pretty much covers up all of them. So there you go. And that has that versatile wad that is the same thing as the flight control wad. This one, the Fiocchis, which are coming out a lot faster, you won't pretty much only have 1 pellet outside, but the wad is still coming through with all of them. Again, very lethal. Coming back over here with the Federal Premium, they're all still in the wad, and I'm still holding on the dot but hitting low. And down here with the Remington reduced recoil, that's odd. So this is one of the slower moving ones too, so you'd think it might be coming out, but I'm pretty sure this one might have a flight control wad in there, or the versatile wad too. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to Google that. But you've got 2 right there. This might be a 3rd one, but the wad is still very much intact. Oh no, excuse me, the wad's right here. Big ass hole. So yeah, these are all pellets. And you can see the edges right there. All right, so this was the final round, or final distance at 10 yards. That's an NFL first down, and as you can see, everybody got hit right in the numbers. Round 1, round 2. Starting off over here, so you can see a very large spread area right here, and that's just 3 more yards from the 7 yards. Unless you live in like Kanye or whatever and you got the big pool, 10 yards is a long way to be shooting somebody inside of a residence of any sort of apartment or house. Not saying it can't happen, but that's pretty typical. And I forgot what the metric is. I'm going to say an inch for every foot, or it's an inch for every yard. I don't know. I'll clean that up at the end. Of expansion is a good rule of thumb for any shotgun. So if you're already here at 10 yards, and that's bigger than my fist, and you've got 3 flyers over here. This is the wad. This is the wad right here. These are just the holes from what was holding up. Oh, here's one too. These are just the holes that were holding the target up. You can see you get a lot of spread. Coming down here, I'm assuming that some of these belong to this, because even if this is 9 pellets, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this one or this one belongs up here as well. If we treat either of these as the flyer, that's still a good fist size. If I come here, that's fist size, and then you just got a flyer. So that's what happens with the 9 pellets. You can send them anywhere. All right. Coming down here, these are 2 wads. If I had to guess, they were from one of these 2 shots, because the wad is falling once the pellets have separated. This is another wad right here. So maybe that one, or this might have been that. It's really hard for me to tell. It was only me, so I couldn't have somebody videotaping my shots. But if you notice, the pellets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's probably a 9th one in here. Fist size. So that's great performance out of the Fiocchi right there. Coming over to the Federal Premium Law Enforcement. So, gave this man a smiley face. Bitches love smiley faces. But now all the pellets are right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe this is 8. Oh, 9. So, yeah, it's in there somewhere. And that's the wad. And he's plenty dead. And again, I was holding right there, and they're all in his face. In the next shot, all those fatal. And the wad might, 10 yards might be pushing it, but it definitely hurt. Then you come down here to the Remington LE reduced recoil. And again, pretty decent group. Within the size of my fist. You got 1 flyer over here, and that's with the 8 pellets. That's more so not, I don't know if you can call that a flyer so much as just it's 10 yards with a shotgun, and that's the kind of spread you're going to get. Here's one of the watts. I would assume it was this one because it wouldn't make any sense for it to be higher. Nah, that doesn't make any sense either. So if this is that, then the watts can go anywhere. Okay, like honestly, so they're unpredictable. But there you go. All right, so before I get into my final takeaways, this is the Fiocchi shell, but if you notice, it's translucent, so it kind of helps me illustrate what's going on with the inner workings of a shotgun shell. You'll notice that the pellets are at the top, and again, this was a 9 pellet load, and they're stacked very tightly on top of each other, and the top of the crimp of the plastic shell is used to hold them in place. Okay, some shotgun shells will have like a powdery material that you saw in the little specks on the target sheets in there to keep them dry and everything like that. Moving to the middle of the shell, you see this is it varies with different wads, but the whole thing inside here is a wad. Do you see this little middle layer right here? So this is part of the wad. Oh shit, focus. This is part of the wad, but and you can kind of see the top of the wad right there. It forms a cup that holds those pellets in there, and once this opens up, the pellets are free to escape. And then this is like a kind of like a crumple zone. I'm guessing for either recoil management or who knows. I don't design shotgun shells. And you can see down here the gray stuff. That's the actual granules of gunpowder. Okay. And then of course primer, just like any other modern ammunition. All right, cool. All right, so final takeaways from everything at the range today. The good news is, and there's a lot of it, there's really no bad news, just a difference of preferences and opinions. But the good news is that my gun patterned virtually the same with all the rounds, which means that I don't have to be restricted to any one or two brands, especially now in the current climate. That would be a pain in the ass. So I'm pleased about that. When I went to go buy my gun, one of the employees at the store has a Benelli M4 as well, and he said that his patterned flat, which can be good or problematic depending on what application you're putting it to. Yeah, so I really don't have to choose. I'm keeping all of them, and I'm not going to try and sell them. My godbrother ordered his. Crazy thing, he ordered his way before me, and I got mine first. That's a whole nother story. But at least I have something to give to him, so he doesn't have to go looking around. The bad, or just where preferences diverge. So you can see that they all perform pretty well. They all gave me my fist size groups. The 9 pellets gave you a few flyers, but nothing that's not too predictable. Obviously, they're not going to shoot the same exact pattern every time, but the whole point is I get predictable size groupings. So when I'm aiming, because you do have to aim a shotgun, this should show you that. Inside of 7 rounds and really at 10 rounds, you're getting pretty much, inside of 7 yards and 3 yards, obviously, you're getting rifle-like performance. Yeah, it's a big bullet, but you have to point and aim it or you will miss. At 10 yards is where we saw the only real divergence, which was from the Black Aces tactical, where that one spread out. Now, again, this goes to the preferences standpoint. You figure that if you're in a home defense situation, and that's probably the furthest range that you're going to do, which means that your kids or whoever aren't behind you, and the further they're spread out, the force dissipates as well, and your guy might be far away. So you can clear a hallway because you got more of a wide spread on there. The flip side of that is the other ones didn't perform like that because, especially the Remington, the Federal, and the Hornady, the low recoil law enforcement branded ones, you got to think the law enforcement need is slightly different than what your average homeowner would need when it comes to shotguns, unlike pistols. So a law enforcement agent might be using this outside amongst the public. So he might need to engage at further distances. So he wants that tight, controllable group at a further distance so that he can engage. And he might be getting into a running gunfight. So that's why he might need successive shots. Even though if you shoot somebody with a shotgun and they keep moving, that's their house now. That lead, you deserve whatever's coming to you. Other than a grizzly bear, there really shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, so I wouldn't say the Black Aces is bad. I still feel very comfortable using it in the house, but that's just something for me to keep in mind, that if that's what I have chambered at the time that somebody's busting in my house at 10 yards, I got to spread. All right. Now, obviously a shotgun is not the weapon that you want to be the hostage situation, pick them off and everything like that. But I've showed you that you can do it, one, especially at close range, but two, knowing your pattern, because criminals aren't convenient. They're in your house. All right, so they're not always going to get you're not always going to get to choose how and when they and where to engage them. But that's my real giveaways. The other thing is, since the performance was pretty much similar, and the only real choice I have to have is if I wanted the spread or not with the black aces. Next one comes to comfort and ease of shooting. All of them were pretty much shootable. My shoulder, I finished up at the range at around 4 p.m. It is now late, like 1 in the morning. My shoulder is still rocking. That could be from a variety of factors. I haven't shot a shotgun in years, so my shoulder could just be soft now, and I'm being a little bitch about it. But the pain is right where it's supposed to be, in the pocket of my shoulder. So I know I was holding it right. I thought it might be a technique-wise issue, and I feel for anybody who does not have Benelli, because Benellis are, industry renowned for being the lightest felt recoil guns. Again, I'll get more into that when I do my shotgun specific one. But the Fiocchi rocked me just like I thought it was. Now, to be fair, I also shot the Hornady. You saw the sequence of the shell, so I shot the Hornady, which is the hottest load out of all of them, right before it. But I don't remember feeling that bad when I shot it. It was every time the Fiocchi popped, it hit me. No, so even though it's got less FPS, I don't know what it is about that, the wadding, or whatever it is, but you feel it more. And that was the same in the turkey loads that I shot. Like, that was in 2012 when I went turkey hunting and patterned my gun. And I remember to this day that Fiocchi had me not want to do anything with the shotgun for the rest of the day. But all of them were pretty comfortable. The really comfortable ones were the Remington and the Federal. Obviously, that makes sense with the lower FPS and everything. But all of them were very, very shootable. I wouldn't think twice about tank bang bang, and the dot on my gun was right where it needed to be every time. So yeah, do with that what you will. I think if I had to choose which ones to keep loaded, it'll either be the Hornady Tap, just because it's more power. Based on the YouTube, you get a lot of penetration out of those, especially with double aught buckshot versus the number one buckshot period. But double aught and that one got about 16 inches of penetration minimum. The FBI standard for projectiles period before they can adopt them into duty is 12 inches of penetration, which I'll get into in another video. I'm not going to do any kind of ballistics gel because, one, I don't want to, and its costs, they can be expensive, and then number two, I wouldn't have anywhere to do it anyway. I live in PG County. Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope this was informative, and let me know if you have any other questions. Take it easy.